know we're back. Back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is. It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. Coming at you live every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host of this crazy show. And if you just happen to catch it, well, I say it every week almost now, it seems. I call it an old Seinfeld episode. It's a show about nothing until we turn it into something. And we're going to turn it into a few things today. Last couple of weeks, we've been turning into what is fascia? What is soffit? What's that? Sort of broke that down. And if you didn't hear that show, you can go to YouTube, A Standard Conversation, and I have that show up. You can watch there, and there's a bunch of different reels, and we've been breaking down a lot of stuff because I want to be able to get more information to you that you can rewatch and re-listen and definitely catch here live and then go and catch back up on it should you need to. Or just for future clients, we're developing a lot of stuff, so if we come out to see you, we'll be able to show you stuff and you know, what we do, who we are, all that kind of good thing, and it's pretty neat. It's really pretty neat. But I had a lot of people viewing and messaging and calling for their pre-booking their inspections. Get ahead of that. This year, RTM Roofing is pre-book your inspections. You know, I did the show. I've said it before. Life's busy. Everybody's going every direction. Go ahead and pre-book it now because spring it's not here, but I don't know, 70-something degrees this week. That feels like here, but welcome to Tennessee, though. It's about to change probably. But what I'm getting at, though, is go and pre-book your inspection. And how do you do that? How do you pre-book an RTM roofing inspection? You can call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or an easier way is go to rtmroofing.com. I'll say that again, rtmroofing.com. Scroll to the bottom and be sure and scroll back up and check everything out on our website. We're really proud of it. But go to the contact card and fill out the information. And in the description where you're telling us, hey, maybe you just want it looked at, you've got an issue, you think, whatever it may be. And if you're not wanting us to come out till March, but hey, we request it sometime in March. First week, second week, you'll get a response right back. We'll send you an email, we'll send you a text giving you that date, saying on that date, this person will be there, weather conditions being good. And if you need to move it up, you're already in our system. So it's that simple. That's the easiest way to, we're trying to make it 2026, right? Because everybody has a phone in their hand, driving, we all know, we see it. But my point is we're trying to be more accessible to you and take up less of your time because that's important. Yeah, it is to us, and I'm assuming it is to you too. But at the same time, it's just, or you can call us at 615-500-0751, 500-0751. And, that's the way. If you're old school, do it that way. If you want to be new school, then go to our website and fill out the contact card and pre-book your inspection. Or if you've got an issue, of course, call the same numbers and all that. And by the way, it's for all roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights, and coming very soon, spring of 2026, insulation. We're going to do a whole show on that coming up, probably here in a couple weeks, right before we get into where we're going to come out or have the ability to come out. You might not need a roof. You might not need siding. You might not need any of that. You may be set to go, or good to go. I don't know. But it might not be any roofing issues and you want more insulation above your head. It's pretty neat. Learned a lot. Been wanting to do this for a while and the opportunities have presented itself. So we're going to do it. It's great. But nevertheless, but yeah, I want to get into a lot this week in this week's show of, for a lot of people that don't know us and hadn't found us online yet or called us out, I want you to know who RTM Roofing is. What are we? What do we do? I'm going to go into that today. I'll break it down in some specific subjects, but I'll hit it high level so you get a general idea of who RTM Roofing is if you haven't heard this show over the past, 7, 8 years, a long time. And I just want to, I'm trying to change up a little bit. All right, I'm going to go off get off of RTM for a minute and get back to what I do sometimes. We just Seinfelded for a second. I don't want to have to talk. I know a lot of people, you like listening about it, but roofing every week, like I said last week, I want to change it up because everybody hates hearing the same thing over and over. There's a reason you listen to this station. It's a great station. They got great shows on here during the week and the weekend as well. And, they don't beat everything in the ground week after week. It's just, new stuff coming in. So in roofing, I can keep trying to do a lot of different angles to keep you interested and keep you listening to maybe you learn something new or something I've done wrong and you already knew. But yeah, I want to adapt this a little bit and be able to give you more information because that's really what it's about. It is about your roof. So I've got to go there. That's a given. But like bringing in insulation, I don't know. I'd never heard a lot about insulation over the years, except here or there. And, I'm smart enough to know about it, but I never dove down into the not the numbers, but the specs of it and how important it is. And it's very important. It's just, that depends on how much you like to pay in electricity bills and how cool or hot you prefer to be at whatever season. It's that important. And it's a good service that while we're at your house, should you need that looked at, we will be able to look at it and then also give you options. And I'm actually looking at mine. I'm probably going to jump onto mine right here before I even get to yours because there's some things about it that I've learned that, I always sometimes laugh and say, I'm a fairly smart guy. I know a little about a lot, but it amazes me always learning something new that I thought I just knew, and what else can you know about it? And then boom, here it is. Well, I've learned some of that about insulation and a lot of value to it. So, yeah, I just want to be able to pass that little bit of information along to people and be able to help people out that deserve that. What the heck am I talking about? That need that or need the additional or just to make sure they're good, like with their roof and their siding and soffit and fascia and gutters and chimney caps and skylights. Because that's RTM Roofing. We're not a big fence builders. Do we know some fencing contractors that we can help coordinate and do all that good stuff? Yes. Do we go out looking for fences? No, but sometimes a big storm comes in and in insurance work, the homeowner wants everything done, under one contractor. Great. We can do that. But I like to stay focused on what RTM is good at. And we've gotten very good at our roofs and our repairs and everything else. Of course we have. We've been in the business 10 years. And have we learned a lot? You better believe it. And I'll continue that. And we're still learning. You better believe it. So insulation has just been it's been like something eating at you. It's been in the back of my head for a long time. And I finally just, not bit the bullet. That's the wrong way to say it. Finally just became confident enough of knowing of what we've done already in this market in roofing for a lot of you. And we're proud of it. That it's a logical step. I can't think of anything else, I guess. I'm sort of thinking this real time. I tell people all the time that there isn't any filter between my brain and my mouth. It's a live wire, live feed, no edits, no cuts. And so when I get to thinking and talking at the same time, when I'm, trying to decide either what I'm wanting to say or how I'm wanting to say it or what I'm responding to, it all like you get the whole workout of my brain spitting out at once. So I apologize and don't apologize for that because I've tried to change it and I can't, but I understand. I'm empathetic to people that sometimes go, I just can't understand him. He's just bouncing everywhere. Well, I can't think of another vertical integration, if you will. That's probably just butchered that, but of RTM Roofing being able to offer insulation. Now, are we talking new construction? That's not us. We're just like we are with roofing. Because when you got to maintenance a roof, how do you maintenance insulation? We'll tell you about that. How do you know you have enough insulation? We'll tell you about that. How do you know how much you need and what's the value of what you're getting and what's your ROI? As I always say in roofing, we don't put $1,500 transmissions in $500 cars. When it's time for a roof, get a roof. Same with insulation. We're not going to advise people to get something they don't need. It's what is the level and what's your return and how much, as I always say, you put in the money. What do I get back for it? I don't always say that. That's a new way of saying it, but you know my point. It's like when I spend money now, I want to, if I put $500,000, $2,000, $5,000 in my roof, how much longer I get my roof? If it's like a year or so and I've got a $15,000 roof, I'm not putting $5,000 in it. I'm getting a new one because that one is gone and my money's just getting burnt away, just thrown away. I always say, just hand me your money, I'll burn it up and it'll just go ashes in the ground. That's what you did. You stopped some water, but you won the battle, but you lost the war. I guess that's the best way to say it. Yeah, I think it is. But it's going to have some fun conversation right here. That's what we're going to do when I come back. Once I get in the vibe today, it's Saturday. It's February. And it feels spring because spring is close. But don't worry, RTM Roofing's here for you during the spring. Those of you new to Tennessee, I think it's going to be a little rough, this one. Well, when you come back, we'll finish this conversation. You're listening to Renovation Nation. See you in 3. Well, stick around because here comes another great segment. We're back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is. It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. I talked so much last segment about everything I talked about that I forgot to give them a couple shout outs. Going to have a few shows coming up here soon with some guests. Yeah, that's the fun part I was talking about. I get tired of not just talking roofing, but just being redundant. It's fun getting guests in here and interviewing about what they do and introducing you to a lot of people. And so I'm going to be having Grant Wise come on, and he's with co-marketing because I'm going to be talking about co-marketing coming up here in the future. It's an interesting thing that Grant's done, and I want to bring some attention to it because, well, you'll find out why. How about that? That'll be coming up here sooner than later in the next few weeks. And who else did I? I wrote it down, and I can't even find it. But nevertheless, gotta give a big shout out to David Lewis. I've got my Gillies gear, as I call it, my Gilly shirt on for that the clothier that I had on a few weeks back, about a couple months ago actually. Need to get him back on. Speaking of which, what's up, David? But anyways, yeah, getting back into today, as I brought in last segment that, for a lot of people that don't know who we are, we do a lot of recording here. Well, I say recording camera wise while I do my show and putting it to YouTube and Spotify. We're now on Spotify. Got 2 up. But nevertheless, it's just so you've got a place to go after you've listened here live and you're trying to remember, there was something maybe that could, pertains to you in your home that you need to either call us about or got another question about. Well, and you want to go back and listen, well, you can search a Standard Conversation on YouTube, a Standard Conversation, or RTM Roofing. Either one. It's the Renovation Nation RTM Roofing page. But nevertheless, you can find all kinds of information that we're starting to put up there in little snippets, the shorts, the reels, the whatever you want to call them, the stories on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're everywhere social now. We finally joined 2026, and that's a lot what we're wanting to use at RTM Roofing. Not only, do we do our work of roofing stalls and siding and soffit and fascia and gutters and chimney caps and skylights and coming very soon insulation, that we want to give you information before we even get there that you can be researching, that you can already have an understanding. and it will help the process go even smoother than it already does. At least that's the way I see it, because everybody is digital, and I'm holding up my phone right now. Everybody's got one, and you feel like you've left your child somewhere when you lose it. That we want to be a little more interactive, where when you need us, you know about us, you know what we do, you know how we do it. And then the rest is, it is what it is. So we're getting into a lot of that. And I just wanted to give more information about, for the people there's a lot of people in Nashville now, and everybody's tuning in to, coming in that's not from here. And if you're first hearing this, of who RTM Roofing is. Well, RTM Roofing turned 10 last October 15th. So we hit our 10th year anniversary. Owned by me, Chad Rowland, host of this crazy show. And, what do we do? I always talk about that. We do home maintenance and home repairs and home renovations as far as the exterior goes. That was a little slow. And so that is roofing. That is the siding or the gutters or fascia and if you don't know what's in soffit, if you don't know what those are, then go to our YouTube channel. We have specific reels for that. They're only about a minute long, or maybe 2 minutes long. I'll sit there and spend 10 minutes trying to explain how long they are. But very to the point. If that doesn't answer your question, then you think you have an issue of knowing what it is, then you definitely give us a ring at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or even better, with your phone, go to rtmroofing.com and scroll to the bottom and fill out our contact form. Sorry, my voice is about shot. But fill out the contact form. It's in yellow down there, and that goes directly into our CRM. So no matter what we're doing, that will pop up on either our app or screen if we're at our desk, and we get the information, and then we get right back in touch with you. And we don't spend a lot of time talking on the phone about your name, your address, your email, the basic information that we'd have to get anyway. That just, to me, it seems a lot more efficient, because a roof takes what it takes to do, 1 to 2 days on average. Gutters you usually get done with in a day, depending on how many gutters there is, how many linear footage. But yeah, that has a specific time frame that can't be changed. But I like to be able to be a little more efficient, to have a little more of my time, to be able to get done with work at a reasonable hour and have some life, and enjoy your life. So we're trying to pass that on to you too. We don't only do roofing, we do therapy. But the kick of it is that RTM Roofing does complete roofing systems. Now, we do repairs. 100% we do repairs. We do more repairs than replacements. But when we do our replacements, we do a complete roofing replacement, complete roofing system, all the way down to your roof deck. What do I mean by that? Everything gets torn off. Nothing stays but the wood, and if the wood is rotten or delaminated. Now, rotten, there's some definitions of that. Now, I'm not going to go into every one of those, but not every piece of wood requires replacement. It can be, and that's what we have a conversation about. But rotten or delaminated wood, then that comes up and gets replaced, because I have to have a nailable surface. I have to have a nailable surface to install our shingles and to warranty our work, because our warranty is important. Another thing about RTM Roofing is we do back up our warranties. Yeah. I always say we have less than a 1% callback ratio, which is amazing in our industry. And that's about what it is, because not every leak is a roof leak. Even after you've had it repaired or replaced, I have a whole show about that, or I'll do another one. But yes, we back up our work, because as I was talking to a gentleman this week who called in and catches the show, and his name's eluding me right now, that he was getting multiple estimates and all that, and I'm like, that's good. Get multiple estimates. I said, I always like the first, or maybe not the last, but at least give me a heads up and last try. Let me see hey, if they're doing everything we're going to do, and you know them and you trust them, and they can do it for thousands of dollars less or whatever it may be, hey, I might need a roof. Give me their number. But it's at least making sure you're getting what you're paying for. At RTM Roofing, we explain what you're getting to the best of our ability. Now, I've got multiple guys that come out, because it's not always just me. We try to do it the same way. I always say it's, sort of like McDonald's. You want to know, hey, I like McDonald's, or, I've been to McDonald's a million times. But when I go get a Big Mac, no matter which McDonald's I go to, it should be a Big Mac, and they've got them. But much like any business and anything out there, sometimes humans are involved and things don't always go the way they're supposed to. So, yes, we do back up what we do. We do try to explain everything on the front end to the best of our ability. As I always say, we look at the whole outside of your house. We do not do brick or windows, right? We don't do brick or windows. That's not two things. I will give you a mason that we refer you to. But this save you some money, and there you go. Use him. But bricks aren't our specialty. We can spot a lot of stuff on it, but there's a whole nature to the inspection, right? First of all, what's your issue? Second of all, what's your house design? And as we're walking around, we're looking at your siding, soffit, fascia, gutters. We're looking at your brick. I'm looking at your windows. Even though we don't do windows, I'm looking at the caulking around the perimeter of the window. That's important to me. It tells a story before I've even seen the roof. No matter your issue. If your caulking is, I always say, if I can pull out my knife and stick it right, inside your window frame, right beside the brick because the caulk's gone, that's an issue. That's an issue. That hasn't been maintained in a while. So what do I expect when I get up on top of your roof that takes the brunt of the storm, the sun, the weather? Hot, cold, 75 to, Lord knows what we'll be in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's the issue. And that's what we do for you at RTM Roofing. Yeah, we try to make it a better day, but I've got more, as you can imagine. You're listening to Renovation Nation. See you in 3. Thanks for watching Renovation Nation. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And we're back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is? It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Gotta give a shout out. It's like always in the third quarter. I gotta give a shout out to Mr. Justin Sheffield. I was talking to him today. I was messaging with Sarah, and I thought while I was messaging with her up there in St. Charles, Missouri, I would give my buddy a shout. But we'll give him a big shout out. Anyhow, I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host of this crazy show, coming at you live from Super Talk 99.7 WTN from the undisclosed location of Studio 378, as I always say. But I don't always say that. It's a habit. But nevertheless, I hope everyone's having a great Saturday. I hope you've been learning something a little bit about RTM Roofing today. Because if you're just tuning in, I'm wanting to let people know who RTM Roofing is. And if you've never heard of us, well, what better place for me to let you know. And I was talking about what we do and why we do it and all this good stuff. And if you're going to go back and listen to that, well, after the show today, it'd really be Monday between 2 and 4 o'clock, go to a standard conversation on YouTube or Facebook. There'll be links. Go to RTM Roofing and watch the show. Listen to it. And it's just a repeat. It's a repeat, but it gives you the ability to go back and catch up of what I'm talking about today because, as I mentioned last week, overloaded because I talk so much and fly and do all this that I trying to slow down, but sometimes I get passionate still like today. I'm trying to cram in so much, and there's not a lot. I'm holding my clipboard up. There's not a lot, but under each one of these words are a lot of bullet points. Are a lot of bullet points I really want to get across, and I'm trying to dissect those as we go. Now, I don't want this to be a long, boring class. That's why I like squirreling. But at the same point in time, I want you to be if you have a roofing issue, when you have a roofing issue, and at some point in your life, if you haven't already, that's a good thing. But at some point in your life, something's going to happen to your roof, and you're going to have to deal with it, and you're going to have to start somewhere. Well, RTM Roofing is a good place to start, I always like to say. But you can at least find out information in this day and age when I'm working on something like my mower, and I've taken something apart and I don't remember how to put it back together. Well, back in the day, you'd have to go get a book and read it and look at diagrams. Well, now I just go to YouTube and type in what it is, and hopefully someone's done something like this with it, and usually by now they have. So I can go back and get it. Now I've got a spot I can go to should I have that issue again. I'm trying to be, I always say be proactive, not reactive. But in this case, if you want to learn some information, you can go to our YouTube channel, because a lot of this show, what I talk about here on this, is there now, where you can go back and re-listen to it or hear it for the first time, because, life's busy and you missed our show last Saturday, Shame. No, I'm just kidding. But I get it. Life happens. So we just want to give you a tool. And look, I always say, and I say this again, people think I'm crazy. I'm like, there's more than one roofer than RTM Roofing out here. More than one roofing company. We all know that. But information's information. And we want to provide you with it, because it's not a state secret. It's not proprietary information. I just want to be able to, like I do it over the airwaves here, be able to give it to you on another platform so you can go back and hear it again should you need it. Because I've still yet to be able to go back sometimes and hear an old show unless I can find it on a road radio show, unless I can find it on the internet somewhere. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but it takes time to find it. Well, you can find ours at a standard conversation on YouTube, or search RTM Roofing YouTube, Renovation Nation YouTube. Well, there's a lot of Renovation Nations. That's why it's RTM Roofing Renovation Nation. And go back and listen. So I guess that's enough of that explanation. I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, time's flying. What's RTM's service area? Well, if you pretty much hear our voice on the radio, that's our service area. We'll go anywhere. We will go anywhere in the state of Tennessee, but outside of Davidson County and those surrounding counties, it's a little more time. It's going to be a little more money. But if you don't trust anyone or do not have anyone you can hire or whatever, you've got a problem, I'm happy to come do that. We are. I do a lot of the outskirts. Well, I call the outskirts farther outside of the center of Nashville. But what is our, how about that, service area? It's Davidson County. It's every county surrounding it. That's our main hub. Williamson County, Sumner County, Wilson County, Rutherford County, Coffee County. Oh, I'm trying to go west. I can't think. Dixon, was that Cheatham? Yeah, just anything that surrounds Davidson County in the state of Tennessee, that's our hub. So if you are needing our service, now that the ice damming's over, and I know the farther you go west, the rougher it got outside of Nashville, call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page. There'll be a yellow box. Fill out your contact info. Goes right into our system, and we will be right back in touch and get you on our schedule to get out there and do an inspection. And that's another thing about RTM Roofing. Sometimes we can give you the estimate right on the spot. You've got a small leak, small repair, something that's just a minimal maintenance item. We can usually, more than not, depending on what our day's like, give you a number right then and there, or sit there and work something up and talk to you and let's get you fixed, get you on the schedule. But a lot of times we have to bring it back and we study it, because we take a lot of pictures. Again, thanks to this great digital age, the data, I remember I used to sell 20 meg hard drives, 40 meg hard drives. People, I got more RAM than that on this computer I'm on that I use. So that the good part is we document everything. So, what is our inspection again? Well, we walk around your house. We take pictures all around your house. Minimum usually of 8. That's sort of the rule. Front, back, left, right, all 4 corners. And while we're doing that, we're looking at your gutter downspouts. We're looking at your gutters, your downspouts to see if we see any hail impacts. Has storms been here? Do you have other issues than what you called us about? As we're going around, start looking if you got siding. We're looking at siding, make sure the mower hadn't beat the side of it up. You know how mowers are. And as we go through all of that, we're looking up at your roof too, because your roof tells a story even from the ground. And when you've been doing it as long as I have anyhow, and a lot of my team, pretty much all my team, we know what we're looking for as we're walking around. It's the usual telltale signs of certain things, not everything. Then we inspect your roof. Look at all your penetrations. Let's see how those flashings are attached. Let's see if that caulking around those nails is still there. Let's see if it's still there, that the nail is backed out or not. That's an important thing. Let's look at the seals of those pipe boots, which are on the flashings. Well, they're called flashings, pipe boot flashings, but the white pipes that come up out of your roof. I don't have any of this written down, so that's why I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm trying to tell you a story and do it at a non-Chad speed so you can understand and sort of picture it in your head. But look at the seals of those boots. They're like an old tire. Here's a picture for your head. You know, if you put a tire out in your front yard or backyard, preferably, and let the sun just beat on it for 5 or 10 years, it's going to get gray. It's going to start cracking. Well, that's what that black boot, that neoprene pipe boot flashing, does on your roof. Why? Because it's going from 75 a couple days ago to whatever it is right now. And probably in 2 weeks be probably -2 again. And taking the sun every day when it's out shining. If not, it's taking rain, wind, hail. You know, just because, it's a neoprene and the hail bounce off of it, but after years of UV light from the sun and all the weathering, that boot that's your tire blowing out on your roof. That's what your pipe boots are. Your pipe boots are your tires, just like your tires on your car. You've got to change them every 50 to 100,000 miles. You're usually changing your tires, depending on how you drive. Well, a pipe boot, you're going to change every 5 to 10 years on average. I've seen them break down in year 5. I've seen them go to 10 and 13, 12, 13, whatever like that. But by 10 years old, you've got 70, 80, 90,000 miles on that neoprene pipe boot. That's your maintenance. We're looking at that. Then we start looking at your caulking. If you've got counter flashings, we're looking at the caulking that's against your brick wall. If it looks like what your windows caulking looked like when we're walking around, then it's liable to be a little rough and needs some little touching up. And what does your flashing look like? Is it still sitting like it should? There's a lot of details we look at. It's easy to miss sometimes because, number one, you're on a roof. But number two, that's why we go back and sit down at our desk, at our office, at our station, and pull up the computer, pull up our pictures, and then relook at it to have to get you a price once we get that, an estimate, once we get that information fully absorbed. There I did it again, and right on the music. Because it's funny the things I see in my pictures that I didn't see when I was looking right there at it. That's who RTM Roofing is. That's what RTM Roofing is. We do our best to do our due diligence to the best of our ability to make sure we get it right the first time. I'd like to tell you I'm batting 1,000, but I'm over 500. Anyways, hope you're having a great Saturday. You're listening to Renovation Nation on Super Talk 99. Well, stick around because here comes another great segment. Well, we're back. Back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is? It's Renovation Nation time. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, we are back. We are back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing. I can't even talk today. Yes, I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host of this crazy show called Renovation Nation. Reminding you that you missed this show today. Well, Monday between 2 and 4 p.m., you can catch it on YouTube and you can catch it on Spotify. And there'll be a bunch of little clips of this that comes out of some of the key moments that, you know, that may be of value to you. And by the way, there's a lot more clips from past shows that we've been putting up of just specific things like what is fascia, what is soffit, what's ice damming. Had a lot of views on that. That I hope it helped you. And, you know, what's our ice dam package? We offer ice dam protection. There's your another thing. When we're on your roof inspecting, we're looking, you got a dead valley, or you've known of past history there. A lot of you discovered that, you know, over the last month. If there had been an existing problem there you weren't aware of, you found out about it. And if it was something brand new, you found out about it. Because we've gotten a lot of calls on ice damming, and we've helped a lot of people out. You know, some are, it's back to normal, like I've said before, or I've said in previous shows. But nevertheless, we offer an ice dam package. But sometimes, you know, you might not want it all the way around the perimeter of your house, but there are certain areas that you need to consider it. We're looking at that because not everything's built like it should be the first time. People are human. But at the same point in time, there are things we can do about it. And then if you've got life left on your roof, it makes sense to invest in your roofing system. Because there'll be another ice storm like this at some point, most likely before you move, and it may be worse. That was pretty rough. I mean, that was rough, no doubt. But it's not going to be the last one. And that's why getting proactive now, if you have areas that are subject, you might be able to retro that now. Or your roof may be already so far gone, I hate to say it that way, but already the car with 175,000 miles on it, and it technically only get 200 if you've maintained it, that it might not be worth the investment to retro it right now because that's a cost. You take that cost of that and dump back into your roof because it won't be as much when we're doing the whole roof to make sure those specific areas that weren't like they should have been before are now moving forward. Yeah, that's what we like to do. Because I'll be honest, I don't know of any call, I will correct myself next week if I find out. I don't know of any call we've had from any past client that had an ice damming issue. I know there was one, but it was on an area that there was, no ice dam protection. Didn't require it. Didn't require it. They didn't want it. And that's okay. That's okay. A lot of people don't want to spend a little extra money for that, and that's fine. But that's one out of, I don't know how many thousands of roofs. I mean, I can go find the number, as I always say, but that we've done that's, we're 10 years old. We're going on, we'll start 11. We're over 10, as I say now, but at the same point in time, that made me feel good. That means we discovered areas that may have been potential ice dam things or things that might not have worked, and advised our clients to, hey, we're going to run this ice and water guard 6 more inches up this. We're going to cut this here. We're going to put metal there. So you don't have the issue that some people had this year. So that's what we do. What else? Here's a good one about RTM Roofing. We do financing. I'm not a big financing person. I say that because I was stupid in my 20s, and I did a lot of stuff. It's not that I'm not proud of. I had fun at, but it was just stupid, just stupid. Just stupid, and overextended. What do they say? Under leveraged and overextended or whatever. Yeah, that was me in my 20s. I didn't know leverage from extension from whatever. I just knew that I didn't want to have to finance anything else in my life if I didn't have to, except for, my home and certain items. I'm not sitting there paying cash for everything. But at the same point in time, that I have been in situations where I have to use it. Well, RTM Roofing offers it. It's very, very simple. Once we give you your estimate, will show you automatically what your average monthly payment would be through this service. And if your credit's average, there's the normal stuff. But if it's $15,000 is the price of the roof, then the average monthly payment based on is, I'm going to make this up because I don't know it for a fact, is $250 a month. Okay. If that's what you have to do when you have to do it, we can offer that. So it's still not a deal breaker. Man, I love your price. I love this, I love that, but I need to get financed because I'm got my own reasons for it. And boom, well, we don't offer it. No, RTM Roofing offers financing. And it's a very simple process. We'll send you the link, and then you deal directly with them. It's you and them then. And it's not hard to fill out because we've tested this a lot before we implemented it. And we've used it more than enough. And I keep forgetting to, meaning more than enough to know we know what we're doing and it works and it's a good system. That's what I mean by that. I'm sorry, that was in my own head. But we know when people have to have it, we won't be able to offer it. So, should that be something you require as part of the deal, we can help you with that. How do you get in touch with RTM Roofing? 615. Let me say it a little slower. How do you get in touch with RTM Roofing? Well, you call 615-500-0751 500-0751 or go to rtmroofing.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page. Fill out the contact form. A lot of you have been doing that, and that's amazing. That's amazing. And it's great. It's really simple and fast. And then we get right back to you with a text you or email you a date and time. We give you the specialist's name, number, and his email. And if that time doesn't work, you two talk to each other. You don't have to go around the world through a middleman. And I say middleman, meaning through an office, back to the guy, get back to you. That's time, right? I was speaking earlier, we want to be efficient in what we do on what we can. And that's a way. What better way do you talk to the direct person coming out to you to help you with with his schedule? He's already assigned to you. So you message them back and forth. I can't do that day. Boom, I can do this at that time. Done. And it didn't take 5 hours because the phone calls bouncing back and forth. But if you're old school, hey, we OG too. Call the number 615-500-0751. And we have a new system, and you'll press the extension for what you're needing, and it goes right to there. And if we can't pick up, we will call you right back because we might be on the other line. But leave us a message and what's going on, and we will call you as soon as we get off the phone and get you in our system and get you scheduled and get someone out there and get you taken care of. That's what we do. The last thing I want to mention today is, the pre-booking your inspection I spoke of earlier, but also RTM Roofing offers a discount. Now, I saw a video the other day. I should have talked about this earlier. I'll probably run out of time. I saw a video the other day, and this guy was saying, you never give discounts because of this, that, and I got thinking about it, and it bothered me. But why do we give a discount? Does that cheapen it? I don't believe it does. What I think it does is like anything. When you go to buy a car, there's an MSRP on it. Then you go negotiate. And if you're lucky if you get 10 or 15% off, right? But you'll get something because that's the market value of that product. Well, in roofing, we show you the market value. That's what that product is. That's the cost. That's what it is. And it's an average MSRP or whatever because there's some roofing companies a little lower, a little higher, way higher, way lower. But for the system we do and the warranties we give and to back them up, that right there is our number. But automatically to everybody, we are going to knock 10% off. Why? Who wants to negotiate and go, I don't like it. And then if you're a first responder, military, retired, Gold Star family, hospital worker, nurses, ambulance, paramedics, anyone over 62, and now teachers. Forgot about y'all for a while. Now you get an extra 5%, and that's a total of 15% off. See you next week. Thanks for watching Renovation Nation. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and share button.